Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well and having a fantastic week. Today's video are some life hacks that I've put together for parrot owners. We know that owning parrots can be challenging, but I've got some tips here hopefully that can help make life with parrots a little bit easier, maybe save you some money, and of course, most importantly, give them the most enriching and best lives possible to a little feathered friend. So let's get straight into it. Now my first tip is quite an obvious one, but that's to make DIY toys. I've got some made out of egg cartons, mini cereal boxes, cake cases, broken toy parts. These are so easy to make because you can just use things from around your house that are bird safe, and you can get really creative in the process while saving a few pennies. Now both David and I have videos on how to make lots of different options for DIY bird toys. I'll leave both the links down in the description so you can go and check them out after this video. My next tip is to freeze your chop into ice cube trays. Now I normally make about a week's worth, which fills this 1 litre tub here, but if I have any extras I will also freeze some into an ice cube tray. Now not every bird is going to like frozen chop when it's thawed out because it goes a little bit mushy. Sometimes my birds are pretty fussy with it, but if you only have 1 or 2 birds and you'd like to make a big batch of chop to be really cost effective, this could be a really great way of doing it. And actually the ice cube trays are often a really great portion size for small birds, so you can just pop one out, leave it to defrost overnight, and it'll be ready for breakfast in the morning. If, like us, you don't like having bars at the bottom of your cage, you prefer to use substrate for loads of foraging opportunities, you may find yourself in a bit of a pickle because sometimes there's a big gap between the tray and the actual cage itself. So what we do to combat that problem, something really simple, we just get a little piece of cardboard, we prop it underneath the tray on the little runners, and then it props up the tray so there isn't such a big gap. You can also use cardboard or some safe wood just to go all the way around, but we haven't got access to a DIY store at the moment, but we will probably do some cage modifications. But to be honest, a little bit of cardboard propped up under the tray is actually just enough to keep it nice and safe, and then the birds can all use the floor of the cage, have loads of floor toys and lots of foraging. Now if you have a parrot who's always really interested in what you're doing or likes to bite your neck or your ears like Scampy, you can create a toy necklace. Now I've seen this on Flock Talk's channel and other people's channels as well, but I wanted to share it with you because I think it's a really cool idea. And you can just take toy parts, broken toy parts and pieces, put them on a bit of paper string, wear it around your neck. You're going to look a little bit silly, but it's going to keep your birds occupied. Now if you didn't know already, air fresheners, aerosols, candles and wax melts are dangerous for birds because they have a very sensitive respiratory system, but sometimes we want our house to smell a little bit nicer, a little bit fresher. So here is a DIY air freshener that you can do in your home, which is perfectly bird safe. So all you need to do is get yourself a parrot safe pan and fill it halfway up with water, and then add in some lovely natural things that can make your home smell nice. For example, some cloves. I've also got some cinnamon sticks. And then I'm also going to add in a ton of orange peel that I saved from some oranges that me and the birds shared before. And then you bring this to the boil and then just let it simmer for a little while, and it will make your home smell really lovely and fresh and even a little bit festive as well, which is always great. And the best part about it is, of course, that it's parrot safe and there's no nasty chemicals in there. It's all natural and it's something you can use to make your home smell lovely. My next tip is to make a DIY foraging tray. There are lots of really cheap options for the tray itself. We've got a planter base here. You could get a platter, you could get a clean and new cat litter tray that's quite shallow. There's loads of different opportunities, and then you can fill it with lots of fun things. We've got broken toy parts, we've got some substrate here, but it's just a really easy way of keeping your bird occupied, and it's very cheap to do so as well. My next tip is to utilise herbs into your bird's diet. Now I've got some mint here, I've also got some coriander, also known as cilantro depending on where you're from, and these are so cheap in the supermarket. They can be as little as 50p or even sometimes cheaper if you get them on reduced at the end of the day. And these are absolutely brilliant because you can make them into toys. My boyfriend David has shown a foraging tree he's done with different herbs. I'll link that video below in his DIY toys. You can also utilise them as part of the chop. Oregano is brilliant because it actually prevents bacteria growth in your chop, so it lasts a bit longer. And also herbs are really brilliant for birds who are a little bit fussy about eating greens, so that's really, really good for encouraging them to start trying new things. And you can also get herbs and grow them on your windowsill. So this one, I've actually bought it today, so it's looking a little bit sorry for itself, but this is some thyme, and I've put it in a little plant pot here, and hopefully it's going to start thriving. We actually live in a flat, so we don't have a garden, but we can actually grow these on our windowsill for our birds, and they'll be nice and fresh. So that's something that you could try too. My next tip is to meal plan some of your meals around what you'd like to put in your bird's chop and vice versa, because that will save money on buying extra ingredients and also saves on waste as well. So for example, this week we're having a kind of Mediterranean vegetable dish, so we've got extra bell peppers for the birds because they came in a bulk pack. We're also having a roast dinner, so we can use some of the broccoli and parsnip from that dinner as well. So it's just ways of incorporating some of those veggies that may otherwise go in the bin or not get used, and also just buying bigger packs as well because it's better, more cost effective, and then we can all enjoy the vegetables together. My next tip is a very simple one, but very effective as well, which is utilising the mighty toothbrush. Now, toothbrushes are really useful for cleaning bowls, for cleaning cages, especially when there's lots of dust from birds like cockatiels that get into all the different areas. It can be really good for cleaning toys as well, but just buying a sort of cheapo pack of toothbrushes, or if you want to be environmentally friendly, you can get some of the bamboo ones, which I have too, and you can have a toothbrush for each purpose, and then you can have a really easy way of keeping lots of different things clean. You don't need anything fancy, simple toothbrush will do the trick. My next tip is to bulk buy. It's always more cost effective, cheaper and more efficient to buy things in bulk, assuming you have the storage. I've got a lot of stuff for my birds. I thought I'd just give you a little peek of our cupboards here, and I generally buy in bulk where possible because it's just so much easier to have it on hand and save a bit of money as well. It's also worth looking at places like Quidco, which can actually give you cash back for buying bird supplies. Northern Parrots is on there, some various other sites. So if you want to go and check that out and maybe earn a little bit of extra money at no extra cost to you, then I'll leave some info in the description as well if you wanted to go and have a look. A great hack and DIY you can do at home is utilising natural branches to make perches for your birds and even toys as well. Now, firstly, you need to make sure you have permission to take branches. If you have a back garden with loads of trees, then that's brilliant. If you're just going out into the countryside, please make sure that you have permission to take branches from different places. You can't just go hacking at people's trees. And also make sure that you are getting your branches from places that don't use pesticides as well. That's really important. Now, you can't just go and get any old branches because some woods are toxic for birds. So if you're not quite sure how to identify trees, there are some great apps on the App Store. There's this one here called Picture This. You can just take a picture of the tree or the leaves, and then it can tell you what tree it is and you'll know what wood it is. I'll also leave some resources down in the description of safe and toxic woods for birds, so you know what is going to be okay for yours. And of course, when you get these branches home, you do need to clean them thoroughly, give them a really good scrub, and make sure they are safe to go in your birds' cages. Use something like F10, which is a great all-rounder avian safe disinfectant, and then you'll know that they are nice and clean and ready for your birds to perch on or destroy. I'd also like to just add a quick point that we have very occasional flare-ups of bird flu in the UK. I'm sure there's bird flu in other places of the world, but obviously I'm from the UK, so I know a little bit more about it. If there is ever an outbreak of bird flu in the news, please don't go and get branches from the outside. It's not safe and you run the risk of making your birds very poorly. So just be aware of whether there is a bird flu outbreak or not. But of course, with any branches or anything you take from the outside, it needs to be cleaned thoroughly anyway. Now, if your birds are as messy as mine are, you may find yourself hoovering every day, sweeping up, and it can get a bit much. So to make the mess a little bit easier to manage, you can buy things like shower curtains and office mats off of places like Amazon, and you can place them underneath your cage to try and catch some of those veggies and seeds, any kind of husks there, any mess that they might make. It just makes it a little bit easier to clean up. It's not something we do at the moment, but I am probably going to go and buy one after this video just to make it a little bit easier to get on top of that mess, because parrots are really messy birds, but we love them for it, and if we can try and make it a little bit easier on ourselves to keep on top of it, then why not? Another hack that we use pretty much every single day to try and keep our birds nice and calm is playing thunderstorm or rainforest noises on our home assistant. I'm not going to say her name, otherwise she's going to start making noises. But we basically conditioned our birds, when they hear the thunderstorm noises or rainforest noises, that they get a bit calmer and a bit sleepier. We started putting it on during the evening when they were getting a bit sleepy, and then they've kind of made this association that when it comes on, it's time to calm down, stop screaming, and generally have a bit of a relax. That's a really great way if you have quite excitable birds. If you can train this kind of behaviour of pairing them getting sleepy with having the rainforest or thunderstorm noises on, then that can be really beneficial for you, for having a kind of tool in your tool belt for trying to calm them down when they get a bit overexcited. Now, a hack that requires a little bit of planning is to make your own DIY seed mix. If you've had a look at the ingredients list of many seed mixes, you'll see they're full of lots of filler ingredients and fatty seeds. They're generally not very healthy for your bird. Now a bird's diet should be made up of vegetables and sprouted seeds and grains and legumes and things like that, but a little bit of seed is absolutely okay. It's not as bad as people say, as long as you're picking the right seeds. So I did actually make a whole video on how I made this DIY seed mix. I'll leave a card now and the link in the description if you want to have a look. Now you do have to buy the ingredients in bulk and then bring them all together, which again costs a little bit more, but you'll make loads and loads of seed mix for your birds, and then it will last you a really long time. So sometimes paying a little bit more up front can actually save you money in the long run as well. My next tip is to buy bigger toys and break them down into smaller toys if you have small birds like I do. Often the bigger toys are more cost effective to buy, but they have lots of different pieces and you can break them down and make loads of different toys. It can be really cost effective to get the most out of your toys. So if there's lots of different parts, take them off, restring them onto paper string or safe woven string like sisal or jute, and then you can have lots more fun creating all different kinds of things for your birds and tailor it to what they like. So that brings me to the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed seeing my life hacks that I've put together. If you have any of your own, please leave them down in the comments, as I'd love to speak to you. Or let me know what your favourite one is as well, what ones you're going to try out. But from me, Chip and Fish, and all of my conures, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Take care and see you later.